All right, so welcome to today's Oil Pastel lesson, and we're doing Edward Hopper, Railroad Sunset. Who I have to blame for it? I think it was Karen, no? Who shared? No. But very nice. I think for oil pastel, actually very suitable. We have this very nice blending exercise with all these red going to orangey, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue. Yeah, and then of course the dark parts. So we start with the sketch. So you can have your, let's say, white paper, or you have it prepared with gouache. I still haven't tried making acrylic as a base. It's kind of, but Karen, I know, yeah, so can be different. So let's say when the paper is white, it's a bit more difficult with oil pastels, because then you really have to work harder to cover all the area, to not to have the white spots sink through. So this is why you kind of predict which color could be nice for background, and I cover it with gouache, and then it really makes job easier. No? But yeah, so as usually we start with a sketch. You can go with a simple pencil. I'm going with this oil pastel pencil. And let's see, so let's analyze. So we have this very long cloud. It's kind of in the middle of the painting. So I can like go and, yeah, okay, I'll be pressing a bit harder so you can see. So let's say I've divided my paper in half with this dark cloud. So that's it, all up will be then later with oil pastels, we go working down. So, and I think again, if we divide what is left half again, then we will get this big dark line that is going, it's like already the part of the ground. So somewhere, yeah, so some like you can just usually divide half and then we go with the line, and no worries if it's not straight. Also there, of course, it is, yeah, so I did those two lines on both sides. Somewhere here in the middle will be our house. Yeah, so we can also, let's say, plan. So we have two objects. We have the house and we have the this sign. And they all, let's say the sign is almost in the half of the page, if I say vertically, and a little bit to the left. Yeah, so, and again, now I don't really think about the thickness. So of course I will add it once, yeah, I have the, I'm working already with the pastels. So now it's more just positioning. And okay, and then we can sketch the house. Yeah, so maybe start with the vertical lines. Yeah, also let's check, for example, it has this nice, okay, let's call it like roof. So this skirt, yeah, it looks a bit like this second part of roof goes a bit on top of this main black area. I'm doing those. And so for those who is familiar with Hopper artwork, this of course is one of the classical, you know, let's say the way he worked. The Hopper works, I think it's really like once you get to know them, then later on you just recognize them from the first sight. They all have this similarity in, I think the main feeling is loneliness or the isolation. And of course, the most important element of language of art he's using is light. So I think also himself, he was telling that like all I want to paint is light. And then you find lots of paintings of him, like piece of wall and then just the light coming in, and that's what he's painting. Yeah, so this is a bit like photographical realism, but with the like really this personal touch that you can't confuse with anyone else. All right, so we are kind of progressing with our house, have the roof, have the chimney. Then I can check, there is another long cloud crossing all the painting, including the house. Oh. And this cloud is also kind of on one line with those windows. Yeah, and again, you see how he made the light inside those. So, okay, there are like, let's say 4 windows more or less we can spot. Yeah, one a bit higher, one a bit like the light a bit lower. We see the curtain down. And also, yes, Luis, in like if I'm rushing, if I'm too quick, it's really normal. Please, yeah, just stop. And
you're fine.
Yeah, very good. Okay, thanks. But
right, I'm right behind you, but you're okay.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I usually try like go maybe let's say 1 step in front, and very good. Thanks for your comment. Okay, so I have the roof, and then of course we see so the light side of the house is on the right. Yeah, so kind of this bigger part, the frontal part of the house is all in the shadow, and the side part is with some light that is very like it takes small part of painting, but it's so important, necessary, you know, to keep those areas. So like
the other laptop, where we could just see.
Like
how do you unlock? How do you do it so it doesn't?
Like you're very quiet, Luis. I didn't hear your comment. If you can repeat or.
Oh no, I'm messing around with my phone.
Sorry. Okay.
It keeps. I have the image here, and then it turns off. So I'm trying to. I'm trying to change the settings so it doesn't turn off.
Good. So and very also one of the interesting parts are those rail lines. So here we see at the bottom, they're a bit, so some parts very shiny blue. Yes, and also very straight. Later we can kind of use maybe the paper or cardboard trick, you know, to have them painted or to have them colored straight. So the house goes on front, and then we have those rail lines. So what's the story about this painting? So in general, Edward Hopper, since childhood, he was really fascinated by trains. And after, so when he got married, they kind of, so with his wife, they embarked on their first train trip. It was going to Colorado, going to New Mexico. But during his trip, he did the sketches. So all those artworks he did back in New York in his studio. And interestingly, that instead of, so he wasn't trying to depict the places where they were stopping, but actually the opposite. It's kind of those places in between the stations. So in between the arrivals. So this is, let's say, it has the feeling you are passing and you are watching from the train window, this view. And yeah. So, all righty, more or less we have our clouds. Now we have our railways. Good. Then we can move. So let's make a plan. I suggest we start with this bright red, yes, on this dark border. We move slowly to orange. Here we notice we have very bright yellow in between the clouds, but the orange continues going a bit up. So just this stroke. And then later the yellow moving a bit to greenish, so on. So let's take do this work of the sky. Not sure how long it will take. Yeah, A4 paper. Let's see. Yeah. So just, and the first, like from the start, you can start already, like, let's say, pressing pretty hard because it's the border. Yeah, so we can, like, when we work with oil pastels, we can control how hard we are pressing, and then we are getting either very, very loose, and in this moment we can start also, let's say, mixing. But let's say in some areas when I know I really need this borderline, straight away I go with just pressing harder my oil pastel. And in oil pastels, the thing is, you kind of have different colors all the time in your hands. You're switching all the time. I have orangey, then I change a bit to yellowish, and so, yeah. And so what's also a good thing I like about oil pastels, you can actually start with dark areas. You can start working from light to dark. So there is no this, let's say, like in watercolor, you just go from light to dark. Yeah, there is basically no other way. Here, I can even cover on top. So let's say I had dark blue, I can go on top and have my yellow on top, and it works fine. Yeah. So here I'm playing, can put some yellowish, then go back to a bit orangey. Can experiment how my lemon yellow looks like and how my warmer yellow looks. And for those who have so the bigger set, then they usually comes with The name is, they're like extender, I think that's the word. So they don't paint, but instead of using your fingers to mix, you can use those ones and they will like blend your colors in between. Yeah, so I see some orangey, I see some yellow, and here I go with this extender, and then my colors are mixing in between. And just slowly we continue. So it's actually like in Oil Pastels, it's not all at once. It's more working in really taking parts of picture and then moving slowly to other areas. For example, of course, at this moment doing this sunset part, I move generally horizontally, but you can also experiment what happens when you change the direction of the pastels, especially if you don't press them hard and you have those, so you have your white paper shining through. So changing also the direction, moving a bit diagonally, even perpendicular, then you can get covered better. And all right, so for example, kind of did the red part, orangey yellow. I will continue going up with my yellow, and then we'll jump back with greenish. And here the upper part, what I see, then we already see the movement. So we switch from this horizontal part, and once we are kind of on top of the sky, we see a little bit kind of the feeling of the clouds. It goes a bit more up, even vertically in some places. Yeah, so yeah, just going up, and already kind of leaving a bit the fluffy edges on top. And then we're gonna have some, here I see very nice spot of very light blue. Yeah, then also experiment which one is working. So this is also the thing we've talked about oil pastels. Like for those who are not, let's say, familiar with this medium, and with me it also happened the first time, you search what to buy, you Google, like, and then you see, okay, there are boxes of different size. And actually, like the size of 50 is the one where you will feel comfortable to work. Everything that is less, it's just difficult, it's just more difficult to work. And of course, generally it feels like, wow, 50, that's a lot. I should be fine with 25 or something. But somehow with oil pastels, that's not the case. So I'm already started kind of playing with greenish, bluish. I come back to my to yellow if it's needed. Yeah, so let's say if I put, and now I need to blend my green back, then I can go with the yellow again, and I change also the direction. So I did, let's say, green this diagonally, and now just to mess around with it and change, so kind of have it all blended, then just change the direction of your hand And yeah, and maybe also this extender in the middle. And you see with oil pastel is this way that you constantly change, you're jumping. You take one color, you take parallel another, and yeah, so on top of my green, I see a bit more kind of light blue, and then it goes to this dark blue. Yeah, so there is a bit this transition. Yeah, so this, like today we've prepared the paper of light blue, but I think today it could also easily be white. It doesn't really, yeah, sometimes it's more important. Okay, now I have more intense dark blue. And also, like generally, when we do those artworks, when we copy some famous artist, then it's always the question to yourself, what's your purpose? Do you want, let's say, get the copy, you know, the way it is? So just be as close as you can, try to catch those tones, colors, shapes as it's in the original, or you just take it as, let's say, inspiration. So feel free, skip some parts, add some of your parts, have your own interpretation. Yeah? There is no like right or wrong way. Like it's allowed, let's say, you know, if the master is more than 100, or like once he becomes national, international heritage, yeah, you can use, and it's normal to learn from them. You know, you're in the stage when you experiment with mediums and so on. So it's more like what's your inner feeling. All right, so I got this blue, looks fine, but then a little bit something with this greenish. Need to get it more inside. And then somewhere we see it's like really a bit more dirty yellow there. So that's probably just a bit more green inside. And so it's also, you can use your finger, yeah, also to blend some areas, but then it depends. So if you put kind of thick layer, it works. You can use also something external to have them blended. Yeah, and then also remember, you can use also a line. Yeah, so now here in the sky, we were using mostly these blending part, but there on top you see a little bit where yellow ends, then you have some light blue cloud, and then kind of there is this contrast line going to dark, yeah, and also of course not all along the painting, maybe here just on the right side. Of course, if I make it all along the way, then maybe it looks too strange, but somewhere it's just to remember that you have this line also as part of your art language you can use. All righty. How your blending sky is going, guys? Everyone very concentrated. That's good. It's good. All right, I got a bit messy here in the middle with this blue. Trying to fight. So another thing is, if there is some spot and you really got messy there and it's not working, you can also scrape. So oil pastels, you can scrape off. Yeah, there is even this technique that, let's say you put, how was it? You put some light first, and then you put, when you color with dark on top, and then you start scraping. Yeah, it's called this graffito technique. And then you can actually kind of just get some thin lines that are scraped off. And, but so if there is some, sometimes we can also get dirty. So okay, let's say now we've used more or less just pure colors. So it should be still clean, but once you get in with some brownish and so on, yeah, you can get, and so it's scrapable off. That's what I did. Just go back in. Fine, I will leave it a bit. Yeah, it's also, let's say, I often mention it when we do some part of painting, sometimes we get tired. So sometimes it's good just kind of switch off, especially it comes like when you do, let's say, covering big area, you just switch on to details. And then also doing lots of details, you also get tired. Then you just switch back to some general areas and okay, maybe I will just mark those windows. Yeah, since also kind of to just save them very nicely yellowish and clean. So I put yellow, and then I'll put a bit greenish accent on top. And also let's not forget the side of the house. It won't be that bright as the sky, but still, like, okay, let's experiment. I'm putting some ochre. Okay, but even ochre, like, I'd better go first with something lighter and just have this area all pre-colored lighter, and then later I can always make it darker. Yeah, so kind of, of it. And very nice, very neat, this kind of something like a path. Yes, on those dark hills, we see these muddy, pale green. Will be very hard to get. Let's check. But maybe there is some ready color. I'm not sure, but can experiment. Yeah, so if you feel okay, I'm more or less done with sky or I need a break, let's move for this pale green curvy line. And kind of, I won't tell you now exactly which green or something will work. Maybe also adding a bit white. Yeah, so remember, oil pastels are mixable ones. And so the same way, yeah, I can take yellow, I can take red and get some orange. So the same way I can also use white to lighten, to make more pale some areas. And feel free to make like this greenish line bigger. Yeah, so we see later on there is black around. Yeah, so this is also one of the tricks in any medium, actually. Yeah, acrylics, or so once you have some light spot, especially like it's an eye or yeah, some small thing, just from the start make it bigger than you want it to make, and bigger than it feels or it looks. And in the end, with all the things, with all the other colors going in, it will end up the right size. Yeah, because it's very easy to lose it and yeah, to have it recovered. All right, I kind of experimented with this greenish line, but honestly, it's hard to tell before we have those dark areas around. And yeah. So what I also see, that this dark lower part, it has some bluish. So we have those stripes, those lines of the railway that are very light bluish. And the way we can make them, so either, let's say, you can try, and if your oil pastel is doing more or less thin line, perfect, yeah. Because actually these very bright blue stripes are only, it's only here a bit in this middle part, and then also on the left side of, because what I wanted to offer, it's also this trick that you just put two cardboards or just also 2 pieces of paper, yeah, and then you draw your chalk on top, and then you take off, and then you have this thin line ready. Yeah, I'm trying now to get it done without. Yeah, so of course now I'm getting more thicker my lines, and I take gray in help, so not doing only light blue, but kind of mixing here in between. And later, actually, here and now I have my plan, because I have here on my left side, I have pencils, yeah. So then later I can go in with the black inside, and they will let me do the thin line. So there are always different ways how you can reach some result. So as I said, you can just limit the area on your paper with 2 pieces of paper. I think some long time ago we did, remember when we did this bonsai tree? And I think Darren should have been there, and we were using just 1 piece of cardboard. So we were limiting space on paper from one side and using the brush. So then you always have this kind of cutting line, and very nice. Yeah, so you use it for some particular areas, and nice. So here is some misty blue. Let's try to get this misty blue.
Really black. Okay. Yeah.
So
what color did you use for that green?
So the misty blue probably will be mixing. Now it will be experiment. I took some blue. Now I'm taking some gray on top. This is going the direction. Yeah, so almost kind of even arriving to my green line, and no worries later on top with black will work, but yeah, this subtle. But then of course we will need to come back to our, you remember this exercise of halfly closed eyes. So if now you look at the region of hopper and you halfly close your eyes, of course, all this lower part is just one big black spot. I see now this green line, I don't see this bluish thing. I even hardly see the railway, although, yeah, these light blue parts are kind of very shiny there. So this should be also the way your drawing should look like, yeah, when you look at it with halfly closed eyes. And if some of the areas that are jumping out, means without, being scared, just go on top with some darkening layer. All right. Let me think. So the clouds, probably I will try to go with the dark blue and purple. Yeah, because really try avoid, especially this upper one, like the one the most on the top, that is the shortest. But actually also the other ones, I see they're more dark blue. Oh, yeah, okay, I refuse going with black. So clouds are no black. The lower part in the house probably are, but we remember how easy it is to get the stuff dirty with black, muddy. So
yeah.
Are you, Luis, already experimenting with black? Yes. It's all the experience. Yeah, so using, let's say, purple or purple mixed with blue instead of black, yeah, will always have you on a safe side. And
let's see. Oh, that's great.
And here, for example, doing the cloud, so I did the dark blue strike, and now I'm going also with touching my oil pastel lighter, and I go around it with these kind of light touches of purple. So it looks, my cloud looks more dark inside, and then it looks more fluffy and light on its borders and yeah, and of course, try to keep your clouds pretty much thin. Yeah, don't, of course, oil pastel is the medium where it's kind of hard to do very, very detailed thin lines. Yeah, this is why I keep those pencils by my side, that like when you really need some area, it's eye or some little spot, of course. Yeah, so what I wanted to say, it's kind of with oil pastel, maybe I tend, when I draw, I plan it thinner, because in the end, it's always going to end up a bit more thick, just because of the how the oil pastel is. Yeah, it's only when you get like really brand new box and all your oil pastels are cut in smoothly, then you can have those sharp edge. But this lasts only first drawing, and then you have all your pastels around, and just have to deal the way it is. Yeah, but also like no worries if you got like a bit more maybe muddy your clouds. Then later you can actually go with some, just press stronger your yellow, and it should go on top. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, still the general rule works. Yeah, that of course if you do with the first time, it looks cleaner. And the same like with acrylics. Yes, acrylics can be covered, but we all know, like if you manage it from the first, it looks more clean. Yeah, so here actually I would go, for example, with a bit scratching. So just a palette knife, scratch a bit if there is something, and no, why not? Why not? Yeah, and then also remember just to keep on switching a bit, and not to make some parts too tired, like yourself, and parts of painting. Yeah, just sometimes leaving to rest and coming back later is the choice. So, but when we see also the roof, yeah, you see this side where the light is. So the right side of the house where we left also the walls lighter. The roof has the same story. Yeah, and then it can be a bit tricky to pick up this right color. Maybe just dark gray will work, but it can be also a bit too light. So then just, again, it's experimenting. I'm mixing dark blue and gray. But you will see it all once we have all the black parts also on its place. And okay, let's go for black areas. Then we can have so now I will, let's say, maybe work parallel. So I have my carbon pencil, and that maybe like will help me just to get the sharp edges, but in between I will go with the black oil pastel stick. And because of course still oil pastel stick is more dark, but it's hard to get in the sharp edge. Yeah, and the hopper paintings are this way. They're always with those sharply precise corners, edges. Yeah, here also on this light side of the roof, under this light triangle, we have a little darker line. Yeah, like one maybe also even not notice it from the start, but it gives really this feeling of volume. Yeah, once we get this. Like one as an artist should know about those little areas that let's say a viewer might not know why like they should be there or not, but we as artists, like it's our, let's say, bread, that helps our painting has its better quality, look more realistic if it's also the aim, and so on. Also the way we do shades, like differentiating where our line is more blended, where our line is more precise as a sharp line. So this is our job to know where to use, so the whole feeling of painting goes. And how we can know where I should put Sharpie line, how can I know where my line should be more edgy? It's just looking at the object, at the nature. So nature tells us. Yeah, so in this case, of course, we're looking at Hopper's painting. He did all the choices for us. Yeah, so we just, but if we're making our own work, we're using just outside painting, it means just looking more close, precisely, how the shadows are. And so, yes, let's say at first I left the side of my house just one big stroke of orange. But now I'm going and darkening it. And like I know I will need to darken it more and more. So sometimes one is surprised how much more dark actually one need to change the tone. Yeah. So let's say it feels light, but when we do this halfly closed eye exercise, then we are surprised that actually we need to go lower and lower the brightness. And actually, like, this is like such a tiny stripe, but so much detail, yeah, in it. I see there is some dark gray, even some greenish, so it's like very, very tricky part. So Hopper, of course, he painted it with oils. Yeah, not sure, makes easier or harder. Yeah. Maybe even yeah, and then we can again go checking. Let's say, what is the darkest? Or maybe if it's also hard sometimes to say from once, what's the darkest spot on painting? Still, we can go checking. Let's say I take the line of the house and the darkness of these mountains or this black stripe, and I see what's darker. The house is darker, so it means all this stripe behind the house is somewhat lighter. So sometimes just using two objects, but it's always comparing. It's the same like proportions. They don't come lonely. Yeah, it always comes like my head, the head of the figure I'm painting is that big accordingly to how big I've painted the body. And yeah, so the same here. This part is that dark, depending how dark are some other parts. Yeah, so this is sometimes happens that we get the name is like wrong tonality. So what is tonality is like how light or how dark something is. Yeah, and sometimes if we just get too wrong, we get maybe too high contrast, or the opposite, the contrast is not enough. So this is the story of those things. But this all comes like just with experience and nice. And again, don't forget to look at your painting from far away. Yes, so sometimes also, let's say, when you take the picture, it helps to see some mistakes, especially of these light and shadow parts straight away. Because somehow with taking picture, then it feels more far away, all what we've painted. Yeah, so for example, I've mentioned that the dark hill is lighter than the house. What can I do? I use my black and I blend it a bit with dark gray. Yeah, so of course I need to, and then also my job is to blend it into those greenish, and my greenish shouldn't make a high contrast there. Yeah, so the contrast is in between the dark hill and the red, but those green and those blue inside the hill, they should look very, 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 and soft inside. And yeah, so maybe even I will need to put more black on top of my green or something. And so, for example, how would I make my green now more dark? I would just go with like holding my oil pastel stick lightly. So giving just like few stripes on top of my green. And then I can take grayish or the same green. And then I just blend in. And also then be careful. I think once we already talked about it, that this big box of oil pastel, then it has, let's say, yeah, the good example is this, there is, let's say, dark purple and light purple. There is dark gray and light gray. And some of them, they have like this white pigment inside. So you just can't go inside the shadows with light purple, or you can't go inside the shadows with this light gray, because it will look really, yeah, it will give light. But so this you will notice once you do this halfly closed eyes exercise, and you see, okay, there is something to light and so I'm actually very curious. Let's see which part of our painting will be the hardest. Maybe even this dark hill will be the tricky guy. So this chalk pencil is one great blender here. Very advisable, very advisable. So this is something you discover just by experimenting. And yeah, so it's not only helps me to get some very nice sharp edge, but it actually also helps to.
Evie,
Tell me.
the pencils you're using, are they oil pastel pencils or are they soft pastel pencils?
Yes, so this black one I was just claiming is a good one, is actually just a carbon pencil. Yeah? So it's actually not even the pastel. These are those carbon that sometimes they come separate, but not to have your hands dirty, they put them into the pencil frame. The other ones, let's say I did the first sketch, all of them rest are oil pastel. The words sometimes they put here peat pastel. And yeah. So yeah, those ones from Faber-Castell I have here. And some of them are these sanguine. Yeah, those typical, let's say, probably when small, like you have white, this reddish sanguine, and it comes dark brown. And should be also black, but so somehow this carbon one got here mixed in. And will definitely stay in the box. It's kind of a good helper here to do the stuff. Yes, you guys so quiet today. I just assume very concentrated. Darren, share a word on your progress, please.
The problem is the sky, it's just not looking right somehow. Part of it I like, part of it I don't. I'm just trying to see if I can sort of rescue it. It's just got a bit dirty in places. So
if there are some dirty places, try maybe, just scrape them off with some metal or plastic palette knife.
I'll just go grab that bit.
Louis, how is going on your side?
A lot of black.
Dark black.
Especially, here you go, look at this.
I see, hey, but not that bad at all. Okay.
Well, I gotta find a way to control this.
Yes,
and
yes.
Then,
but your sky is very, very professionally, I'd say.
I don't know.
I mean, like I really see a good quality oil pastel there. It's very blended. Can blend it very nicely. Maybe also remember about a bit inside the house. Yeah, the light there is also.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I need to put the yellow and orange in there.
Yeah. But of course, if you're inside the hill, then of course continue. But not bad at all.
Yeah, most of the hill is just black, and it's messy.
Yes, this is the thing probably, like if they would be just black, then just kind of okay color and that's it. But we are trying to get this greenish stripe and and that's where the mess is starting. Yeah, and Karen, all good on your side?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, just kind of checking. Let's
Behind, as always.
no worries, no worries.
And just got a horribly fat window bar.
Yeah, it's only just because you don't have this charcoal pencil as I have. I mean, if I wouldn't have it, I would have also just the terribly fat windows, and no, maybe I'll have just like 2 windows instead of 4.
I'm going to leave them though because it's just making it worse. Trying to clean it.
But actually, in this case, this scraping technique, yeah, can be the one that can save if you don't have like some thin pencil. Then you just, what you do, you kind of, what you need to do in layers, that you first cover just all in light, and then you go with, on top you go with dark, and then you start scraping. And actually you can manage that you scrape just one layer, let's say that is black, and the yellow stays, yeah? And then scraping you do with some sharp object, and that's like how you get the thin, sharp lines. So the story with the railway parts is also not easy, because somehow, so they should be shiny, but at the same time they shouldn't be too bright. Yes. So let's say now I'm trying also to darken them a bit. And Yes. Yeah, but today, of course, there is lots of thing comes from the just the technique or experience one has with the oil pastels. And oh, I forgot to tell you about this long, what do you call it? Talking about railways and hopper. So another, like one of the most famous his paintings is this. There is a house, like also again lonely standing house. So also I like this description. Was that like many of his objects, they are limited with empty space. Yes, I think it's like sounds a very bit like contradiction. Also, we have empty space, but it's limiting our the object or and there are also lots of kind of explanations what it could mean. Also, maybe some changing times in the United States, maybe in those times changing a little bit, like the technical progression coming in and those the traditions. So this house maybe was like the symbol of traditions, and then it's been crossed or even separated a bit with the railroad. And but of course, not all paintings have to be politics. It's actually sometimes like the viewer sometimes gives more those meanings, maybe the artist itself. And Darren is sending something. Let's look. Not bad at all, not bad at all. Wow, very nice use of oil pastels, huh? Check it out.
Very nice. Oof.
Oof, I say the same, huh?
I'm trying to add a bit of white to the sky, I think, between the yellow and the blue. I'm just going to try add a tiny bit of white, I think. Just looking at it, but
yeah,
it's very nice.
But somehow very
clouds.
Yeah, everything. Also, this lower area, the house, also very neat. Like
thank you.
It's kind of integrated. Yeah, it's everything is very well combined. I have even 0 comments.
Thank you.
I mean, of course, I can make something up, but
no, you don't. I think to be honest, in some ways, pastels work to my technique because, as you know, when when you compare like mine and Mel's stuff, Mel's very much sort of fine lines sort of thing, very controlled lines, where I'm very much a sort of sketchy type person. So I think the pastels certainly is like when you're doing like the sky, rather than just do sort of straight thick lines, I'm sort of all over the place, sort of like that. So I think that sort of helps add to the technique there, I think.
Wow. Well then, Darren, you find your medium. Huh?
Thank you.
And awesome. Yeah. Oil pastels also cool because kind of you can take them out for working outside. So then you don't need all these water, or of course like oils are complicated, and oil pastels, just the box can travel with you. And I like how you even like you did a bit the light on this thin pole. This
on telegraph pole, yeah.
So this is your own. Oh, come on. And so quickly, huh? Karen, what should we do with Darren?
I don't know.
we should set him like double task or something.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I'll just explain, Louis. Darren is always so quick, then like everyone feels kind of stressed that one is done and the others.
I think you move him to the advanced class.
Well, we have only one group, but yes. I mean, but yes, exactly. Darren is moving to advanced for sure.
That's very impressive, Darren.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I hear. Keep on. And look, you've been also adding a bit of brownish also on this stick at the bottom, shirt one, and so not just black but and purple. Hey, very creative.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think I've got that in a way. Yeah.
And for example, now if I do this exercise, so I halfway close my eyes and I look on your picture, it looks all together. Yeah, so this is what I'm kind of always keep on telling. So the picture should look all together. So I go in and I do the details on the pole and I do the details on this light side of the house, but it all needs to look integrated and all together in this whole picture. So Darren.
Thank you.
And where is Mel today? Don't tell me.
She's doing overtime. She's trying to earn some money to buy a new motorbike. So the opportunity for some overtime arose. So we took it.
Good. I mean, unless it's not work, as usually I remember. It was busy then. Like, if it's some summer activity outside, that's definitely more important.
Now, next week, just to let you know, I won't be able to make 4 o'clock because football's back. But I think next Saturday is the first Saturday game they've got. I mean, I think they haven't got another home game for about 2 or 3 weeks, so I should be okay for the following weeks then. But I'll just do it next week.
Okay, the next.
I'm looking at doubtful.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know. So we can also discuss if we can shift the time maybe, or we just, we skip one weekend. We wait also for, you go for sports, but other pictures. I've been watching you on Facebook. You did also some shootings for birds, I think. Yeah,
there should be some more bird shots going up later on today because I took some more this morning. So there should be some, no kingfishers, but I've got a buzzard, an egret, and a cormorant. So they'll be on Facebook later on.
Awesome. We'll have my eye on.
I'll be back in a second.
Sure. So also, Louis, feel free also to give, let's say, your wishes, your suggestions. If, let's say, there is some famous painting you always wanted to try to paint.
Okay. Thank you.
We also using a lot of Darren's photographs, because he's a photographer and he goes out and does amazing photos of birds and animals, and
Okay.
then we sometimes just, let's say, paint not some famous artworks, but we just take photo of animal and let's try. Just like all the wishes are very welcome. That
Okay.
just
Thank you.
that was the point, the message. Yeah, one can go back and do back again the red accent, let's say, also a bit like coming on top of the black with red, and can also help to blend if there is some, let's say, maybe white areas with white lines left. Cool. Hopper and Hopper. So I think it's also, I was reading some articles about Hopper, and I liked very nice kind of description of him. So in his paintings, it's very often that this atmosphere is kind of like quiet. Yeah, so I mentioned like there is this loneliness, this maybe mystery feeling. So there is this quiet, but still it's a bit of tense, right? There is some of this kind of those both. Very, very interesting how one can. Now I'm reading a book about Kandinsky. So this is it's the Russian painter who was kind of one of the first in this abstract art, and as like lots of artists like Picasso as well, they would have the traditional path. They go to academy, they learn all the basics, all the rules and the stuff, but then they of course develop own viewing or own technique, and then how he was transforming him to, and then so like usually of course when we look at abstract art, we say like what's, you know, like we don't understand it, or of course like there is no form, there is no shape that we can translate to the language that we can, there is no house, there is no horse or something. And so this abstract is more like sharing the emotion that can be like harmonical or maybe disharmonical emotion. And so how he was arriving to the moment that he realized that actually like shape or form is bothering his art. And it was like he was coming back home late in the evening, and he saw in his apartment a painting that was his painting, but it was just put it, you know, like, let's say it's a landscape painting, but on the floor it was like in vertical position. and as it was like evening, then he didn't saw the shape, but he just saw the colors, and he was like very like surprised and amazed. And this is the moment when he was like, okay, no more shape, no more this form, but just and how he was also actually connected a lot with the music, and actually like so let's say his main art language was color and let's say form in the meaning of like line or the geometrical shapes, and the third one was music. So he was a lot trying to interpret. And we haven't tried yet doing some abstract in our lessons, but I mean, why not? Why not give it a go of experiment? Yes.
Underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, something better. Eat a mess. Cookie.
And then of course in Hopper's, yeah, it's one of his favorite art languages is light. Yeah, amazingly how just this little stroke upside of the house makes it all. Yeah. But of course also we can relate, like let's say Rembrandt. Yeah, I think he was also the master. You could have all his painting would be dark and all the background is just dark brown, black, so on, and then in the middle somewhere you have some light area coming out, yeah, and it tells the everything. There is one also interesting, so now I'm preparing for the 1st of September. I'm going to work in a school, and so I was checking lots of some artworks that let's say maybe are easy to be done for kids in a short time, and there is one very nice that I didn't know earlier. So first you cover your paper with oil pastels, and can be also like colorful, can go like let's say maybe also sky level or green level for the bottom, depends. And then you cover it all with the gouache. But the one nice, if you color it all with white gouache, and then you scrape, and then you get such a nice wintry landscape, because then you have it all white as a snow, and you scrape out the shapes of like houses, the silhouette of some roads. And I was like, wow, this is something, you know, to like you can also cover with other color of gouache, of course. But exactly white was like something like I wasn't experimenting before, and yeah, so when we will get to winter, we might do some wintry. But let's enjoy summer while it's still here. And what else to share with you?
Added me to the WhatsApp group.
Aha, there is something then coming in. Yes. So let's check how Luis did. Ah, wow. Hey guys, look at this.
It's good, isn't it? I like that.
Not bad at all, not bad at all. How you get it so
That's
soft?
really
So,
cool.
okay, you're using Oil Pastels, or you're using...
Yes, all pastels.
But you got such a sweet transition of sky. Wow.
I just used a napkin and went sideways. You know, and I kept adding yellow. I thought that yellow would be the trick to try and lighten it up a little bit. But
cool, Karen, we should note it down. Napkin, of course. I mean, yeah.
I
Love the color of sky.
Yeah, so the sky is absolutely gorgeous, and
yeah, absolutely amazing.
For example, if I could make like some comment suggestion,
make all the comments you can, please.
So, for example, I would go a little bit, like let's say with grayish on the top of the windows.
Okay.
So let's say he has like the light at the bottom, and the upper part feels as if there are some curtains or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so,
yeah.
But like maybe it makes also a bit softer, and then also let's say this is also the typical, let's say you did very cool this edge of the roof, but we know that under the roof it's always dark.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so just also kind of integrate maybe just the upper part, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, the lower part of course it's with the light.
Yeah. I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's also like just generally in any medium. Yeah, when like if you want to show the house, just paint the line, the shadow under the roof, and it feels your box starts feeling as a house. And I really like this this dark hill. So even maybe let's say in this theory of light and shadow and this contrast, it's, you know, like this green is very bright to this black stripe, but I like it. It feels like very also, you know, maybe clean color. It feels nice also in all together going up with this red. I mean, yeah. Maybe I wouldn't go, you know, trying to cover it dark so it looks all together. It can be also this way. And it
I don't have a darker green, and I tried to blend a little bit of gray in it because it was worse. Yeah. So
yeah.
okay.
Cool. And like also the way you did this tall pole, so kind of just very sketchy. Yeah, so not like we're not putting attention, but those tick strokes and very, you know.
I don't know if that's supposed to be a flag or what. So
It's what's
a
there?
light pole, maybe.
I think it's I think it's a telegraph pole.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Yeah, we should remember that the times. So it's 1930 or 1929.
Okay.
The year. So of course, then they would have those.
I didn't zoom in enough to actually see what it was, but yeah, that's what it looks like. You're right there. I think I can still fix that, so I'll do that.
But I mean, like I like your pole the way, like I like that it's actually light and not that,
Not too defined.
Exactly. I think it,
Okay.
because why I think it fits good, because also your red is not that intense, and that's why I think like your red and your green, they're matching each other, so they're kind of balancing. Let's say if maybe your red would be, you know, as dark and intense, then of course this light green would be, you know, kind of jumping out, wouldn't be in its position, but all together, and that's why the light pole also fits in this group, this light red, light green, and yeah, so
okay,
the kind of balance. Now, Luis, we got an artist in our group.
It's no, I don't know. It's just for fun, and it was fun. I really like this lesson, and I like the background that you give on the artist. You give some context and the meaning. You know, that makes it a lot more interesting.
Thank you. All right, let's not get distracted. It's current turn. Here we got very.
I'm retaking that because I've actually missed the bottom of it.
Okay. Then I'll wait for your retake. So, and it's so awesome how we all do differently. Take a look. Karen said clouds. Now, come on, my phone, make it horizontal. So clouds are the, you know, this purpley bright bluish. Very nice. Yeah, and yeah, the red is passing through the house. Again, let's say it's already, of course, your decision. I like the windows that actually you've managed them. They're very squarey and very clean. And I thought, yeah, because I was you were asking about this pencil, so you actually made yeah. But I was just like this comment about the curtains, because I think it's nice. Like in his painting, one curtain is a bit lower, one a bit higher, and it's kind of this darker part of curtains gives a bit integration with the roof. Yeah, so there is no okay, a little bit. One little comment from like architectural point of view, Karen, your roof is not going out. It's like on the one level with the walls. Yes, so we know that roof a little bit, but always is out because the rain goes and it's like just the building. But let's say this is, let's say if we are doing some surrealistic or some painting that can go well. Color-wise, look at your red. Yes, this turns red, and or like all I'm looking is your clouds and there this red line. It's so attractive. And okay, with this lower hill, yeah, that could be like, it could be discussion. Yeah, if let's say if you can argument why it's also light, yeah, or if it should go more like pale, if it should go more like.
I agree, it needs to be darker.
Yeah, so because it's a little bit now, it's the game. Is it the hill or is it the red sun? No, is it?
Yeah.
And but also, so I see you maybe you used some yeah, piece of paper cardboard, so very cool stripe of the rails. Yeah, it's like, so it's very edgy area. And so what's your own feelings? What's your own, or like maybe struggles, or what's
I'm not very keen on my clouds. They're not cloudy enough. They're just like they're just like lines. So I don't like them. I don't like them at all, actually. I agree that the blue needs to be darker because it is fighting with the sky. I didn't really give myself enough time to finish the sky. I haven't got enough blue at the top, although I kind of like the blue that I do have. I do like the blending from the red through the orange through the yellows. That kind of works. And I left out the telegraph pole because I knew that I was going to run out of time. But I also think that I shouldn't have left it out because it's such a central feature that yeah.
It does. It gives some balance, isn't it? With this house and the pole, kind of they have these, and even this little black guy. This
I missed him completely.
It's not noticeable from the first, but kind of it also plays its game a bit. So just a technical comment on the clouds. I think if you just take, let's say, even the same, not even blue, but maybe better purple, because it will go better, let's say, with maybe orange or, and just like not the thick, not the hard stroke, but very light, and just make a bit fluffy. Maybe like this can change your clouds, you know? So just I kind of go a little bit, let's say, on the border. Yeah, so I have my dark part of the cloud inside, but then I just kind of fluffy them out with the with just touching light outside, and that can be also not everywhere, not all along, but just maybe in some areas, and then maybe they're maybe a bit more integrated, more just blended out in this kind. But yeah, so it's always, we paint, we always get some areas, yeah, like very awesome, this red to orange, and some parts that we need to work on, so kind of. And yeah, but actually, like, for example, it could be actually not so hard, like maybe just go like darken up a bit your bluish, just kind of and maybe even try to use the napkin, the paper towel, as Louis did. So maybe it works like also to blend, and just kind of bravely strike the pole and you know, like do it with the one, yeah, the one stroke. But awesome, guys, huh? Darren, you're still with us?
I'm still here, yeah.
That's good.
No, it's been great seeing everyone else's work, sort of thing. All three, it's sort of totally different, but all great at the same time. So
I totally agree. Yes, thank you, Darren, for this comment. I agree that like each got own own style or own good thing, and so we all learn how it can be done. Yeah, I really like this kind of gentle colors from Louis, like very, this is kind of soft, and Darren, like now I'm watching like all three together. So from your side, from Darren's side, I really like this light you gave to the pole, to this little guy here. It's kind of, feels this game, this lightning on very, very, yeah. Like totally different feeling. Like, but it's more night, maybe, yeah. So it's,
I was going to say it's almost like it's sort of 20 minutes after Lewis's photograph. So Lewis is sort of the sun's just gone down, and mine's sort of 10 minutes afterwards. So it's getting a bit darker again during that sort of twilight hour.
Amazing, yes, Darren. My thoughts exactly. Just the different time of the sun. That one can depict. So it's still lighter on Louis' side, and
Did you say this was inspired by or during one of his trips to the Southwest of the United States?
yes,
Arizona, Colorado or New Mexico?
Exactly, yeah. So this is what I got from Google. So he was doing his first transcontinental train trip, and I think he was heading exactly to Colorado. He was heading to New Mexico, and so we don't know where exactly this painting is, because as I said, he was doing like in between the stops. So it's like train passing, but yes.
Well, if you ever get the opportunity to come to New Mexico, especially the desert, look me up. But more than anything else, the sunsets are incomparable. And it depends on kind of cloud cover, if we have any at all or whatever. But there's just nothing like it. I take pictures of them all the time, of the sunsets. Maybe one of these days I'll send you all one.
Please, Louis, I just wanted to say, please share your sunsets from the desert. They should be amazing, yes.
Yeah, I'm not a photographer, Darren, so cut me some slack. But sometimes I don't get it at the optimum time, of the evening so anyway, but it's beautiful. It's nice. Sunsets are really nice as well, especially where we live. It's desert, and then there are nice rocky mountains to our east, and pretty much, and then smaller mountains all the way around. It's pretty.
Sounds great.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think actually, the desert has really like this different atmosphere, So awesome.
Right, folks, I'm gonna shoot off now. So I say I probably won't be able to make this time next Saturday, but hopefully see you the week after, perhaps. But I'm sure we'll be in touch on the WhatsApp group. So
sure.
I'll see you all soon.
See you, Darren. Thanks
Cheers,
for
everyone.
joining.
Darren. Okay. Well, if we're done, I hadn't seen that man in the figure either until you pointed it out. So I added him. I don't know if that's any better. And
A bit higher, please. Yeah. Okay. I see it. Yes, I think.
And then I worked on the windows a little bit.
Awesome. I see. Yes, I like it. I like it with the windows more. So the stripe of the roof is not that harsh.
Yeah.
Cool.
it's close. All right.
Yeah. Well, I think can definitely can take its place on the wall, you know. Why not? I think it's also actually the story with the artworks that when we painted, we're more judgmental, but you should, at least, let's say for the week, you should put it at the wall. And believe me, in 3 days, you pass by and it always starts looking better. Always.
All right.
So just like later, of course, take it off and, you know, but like one should have a wall to hang on just for a short time, and also just a bit, it's a reflect.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I will do that.
Cool.
Right.
Well, was very happy to meet you, Luis. Very
Oh, same here. Same with you, Karen, and I hope
Yes.
to see you next week.
Yep. See you next week, Louis.
All right.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you all. I gotta go. as
Yeah,
well.
see you, Luis. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adiós.
Adiós.
En español.
Hasta la próxima.
Hasta la próxima, Evi. ¿Hablas español?
Sí, hablo también español, sí.
Ah, qué bueno. Ok, bueno. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego, sí.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.